Hello Star Wars fans, it is Starrapter here. Welcome to the channel. Today is a monumental day. Today is a day of the return of Star Wars The Clone Wars. And I'm so happy to have the chance to talk about The Clone Wars with you guys once again. I've never even had a Clone Wars review on this channel, so I'm just jumping straight in to the final season. Today we're talking about Season 7, Episode 1, The Bad Batch. To give you guys a little bit of a backstory on these episodes, they were first released on StarWars.com years ago in their unfinished real format, and they actually didn't really have finalized graphics. They had the voice acting and the general story. They had 4 episodes, so now actually seeing these episodes come to fruition in 2020 with the way technology is, with the animation, is just so damn satisfying. So just jumping straight into the plot of this episode is all on the clones. I mean, we're returning to the Clone Wars with what makes the Clone Wars some of the best in Star Wars in general, is those clone stories, the clone trooper stories. So we're getting this Bad Batch who is arriving on Anaxis, which is also seen in Star Wars Rebels Season 1, which I just watched the other day. Really cool, returning to that familiar location. And the Separatists are finding out all the different plans of the clones. They are constantly finding out and adapting very quickly to the plans. So Rex and we have Commander Cody coming up with this plan where they have to go and find where this is all happening, this communications center. So to do that, they have to have a strike team to go in there, a very specialized strike team, and it's got to be more than Jesse, Kix, Cody, and Rex. They have to call in some reinforcements that Rex is not familiar with. They call in the Bad Batch, and I love this little detail. Clone Force 99, named after 99, which is one of the saddest things in Star Wars, seeing how he falls at the Battle of Kamino. So to see him have a clone squad naming themselves in recognition for him is just so heartwarming for me. So you have this Bad Batch, who are all these kind of genetic rejects of the clones, but they are all very adept at what they do, and they are very different than any other clones we've ever seen. Just their arrival on Anaxis was just so freaking cool, with them just coming in at, point blank, really fast speed. It's just about to crush everybody on the landing platform. And each one of them has such really cool personalities that you're not used to seeing from the clones, right? We have Hunter, who has this way of realizing different locations with different electronics, and he's also really adept with using a dagger as combat. Then we have Wrecker, who is a really big guy, kind of like the Hulk. He's kind of dumb a little bit, but he's very, very strong, as we see in this episode. Then we have Tech, who is, as you would expect, a genius when it comes to technology. He's able to hack different things, see what's going on. And then we also have Crosshair, who is really good at being a sharpshooter. So you have all these different personalities of these clones and their mission to go with the Regs, as they call them, which are the, Captain Rex and Cody and Jesse and Kix. And you have some butting of heads throughout this episode, which I really did like to see the differences of how these clones are kind of brought up. And we get to this episode, and there's just so much action. This is a great episode to start off the series, or restart the series, is to really see, without help of the Jedi, how good the clones are, how great their training is. And for me personally, I love this sort of thing. It really, like, the Rookies episodes and the episodes on Umbar are like my favorite of the Clone Wars. So starting things off in such a great way. We get to the end of this episode. Spoiler alert, by the way, these reviews love spoilers. We find out that Echo, who we thought died at the Battle of the Citadel, is actually being used. He is the one that is actually having the Separatists use him to kind of coordinate things and find out what the patterns of the clones are. So that we find out at the end of the episode. It's going to be very interesting. And talking about some things I really liked about the episode is, first off, in the beginning of the episode, really seeing the weight of the war weigh down on Captain Rex. We know that he is looking at his picture of all the old buddies of his. We have Heavy from Domino Squad. Poor guy. Oh, man. We have Fives, of course. We had that beautiful arc in Season 6, the Lost Missions, where he was going to remove the chip. We have Echo, and at the end of the episode, he finds out that Echo is alive. So there's lots of weight on the shoulders of Captain Rex, and you gotta think that this is a great arc to include with the final 3 arcs of the Clone Wars, because we are going to get into the headspace of Rex and some of these clones and feel how they've been dealing with 3 years of continual war. We hear that quote in the trailer about the clones. They're not sure about what their place is in a war, especially what happens when the war doesn't exist anymore. So to see that introspection, to see a little bit more behind the curtain of these clones is something that I thought that was really appreciated. I really liked how we're getting into that. Talking about the action in this episode is, I don't remember seeing action this good in the Clone Wars. This is some stuff that is seriously so cool from the get-go, from the beginning of the episode, with Wrecker ripping off a door of a Republic LAAT transport, using that as a way of like a barricade that's mobile, having Tech calling out different kind of arcs for the thermal detonators or the droid poppers, and then having Crosshair shoot him out and shock all these droid troopers. So that was super cool, seeing the synergy of all the members of this certain crew. And then at the end of the episode, the way that the camera is working behind over the shoulder of these characters, as it's like a sort of like a one take as they're going through the close corridors, and you're seeing all these troopers at their best, you know, whether it be Hunter just stabbing these droids and having some kind of electrical impulse that short circuits them, to Wrecker just going ham with this big gun that he's, you know, it's kind of a commando type of weapon. It's automatic. And then you have Tech with the double blasters, and then you have Crosshair shooting with the scope with the sniper. And yeah, it was just so fantastic to see. And man, I'm so happy to see this in 2020, to see everything pushed to the limits. You know, the Clone Wars won an Emmy or two, I think, at least one Emmy, and it's for good reason, because this show pushes the boundaries of what is known that can be happening in the world of animation. And seeing how the ships are crashing into an axis, and you have all like that dust, that shiny dust, like coming up off the ground, just very hard, I'm sure, to render that, and to see that basically happening is so cool. But all in all, this episode felt like it was Clone Wars Never Left. Like the way that this story feels, the way that they paid homage to the previously released reels for the Clone Wars. I don't think I was gonna feel this excited after watching the first episode, because the issue is that we have to wait every single week to just get another 25-minute or so episode. So it's a little bit different than when they released the Lost Missions. It was like, okay, here's 12 episodes, go. I do appreciate them having a single episode at a time, because A, it helps us savor these things, and B, it helps me talk to you guys on a weekly basis and really like watch these episodes, really get into them, because once these 12 episodes are over, this is it for the Clone Wars, unless they say, oh, wow, there's so many people watching these things, maybe we'll make a couple more anthology, which would be great, because there's plenty more episode arcs. But man, such a great way to come back to the Clone Wars. Voice acting, everything was awesome. Now it's time for you guys to talk to me in the comment section down below. What'd you think of this premiere for Season 7, the final season of the Clone Wars? Was it everything you hoped for? Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. As I mentioned, I will be doing reviews every single week for the Clone Wars, so if you liked my take on this episode, you want to see more of my thoughts on the Clone Wars and other Star Wars in general, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel, as I talk about Star Wars pretty much all the time on a weekly basis. That is going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also included 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.